Good day, YouTubers, so thank you for tuning in to today's toy review. And no, this is not a Christmas special. I know I'm recording around Christmas Eve / Christmas Day. Yes, I know. What you see on screen here is, of course, James, the Big Red Engine. Obviously, it's a Tomy one. And yes, he's basically struggling to pull what looks like to be the Disney train. Usually, that actual locomotive that goes with the train. Usually pulls it very much nicely, but I've actually given James because, hey, why not? Because he's gleaming red. I mean, look at his shiny red paintwork. Yeah, alright. Let's take a look at James. Yeah, he's pulling like a red flatbed wagon, which to me at first looks like an extra tender. But no, I'll probably say, hey, who knows? It could be an extra tender if it's carrying a lot of coal and whatnot. But it's a fantastic looking design. I mean, look at this. He's actually doing well, even though he's like going a little bit slower than usual, I suppose. But it's not going to be just about James, the Big Red Engine, who's pulling. Well, that is about 4 of these bits of rolling stock. So, isn't it? Somehow that looks pretty fun for James to pull a train like that. He coaches, but then hey, this here is pretty much a special treat for him. Very excited and very, very awesome. But in this toy review comes a totally different toy. We're going to be taking a look at snakes. It's going to be a hysterical Christmas. If I can talk like a snake as I can. Alright, we've got 2 snake themed products. We've got a non-origami themed version, and we've also got an origami version. So apparently we've got the Thunder Islands Blue Pit Viper Snake Value 5-pack, which costs about £8. And then a much more expensive one, which costs about £9.99, which is a non-origami version for some reason, even though I'd probably classify it as origami. Yes, it's a Western Hognose Snake Duet pack. There'll be more snake-themed products along the way. The back of the packaging looks like that. These are not too bad for what I can see, despite the packaging looking a little bit too awkward. There's the back of the packaging here. For some reason, this one here that I've just made is basically, it's basically an artwork from another packaging that's stuck on top of another packaging. Probably because of just how inferior these things are. Okay, they do look very, very nice. Right, let me just go ahead and unpack this. It's a very fast one, and we've got the Thunder Islands Pit Viper, which I believe is a subspecies. I think they live in... Oh, dude, there's a bit of blood there. I think it's a subspecies of the one that lives in Indonesia. I think it's the Komodo Islands. It's probably where the Komodo dragon lives. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there you go. This is the blue white-lipped pit viper. I'm not sure if that's the correct specimen, of course. There's its little fangs. There's the red-looking eyes like that. Looks very, very nice. There's its snake-looking body like so. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's a beautiful design. And there's this action. Imagine if it had like a little tongue in the front. That would have been fairly hysterical, right there, snake. And then we've also got a couple of kingfishers. Now, it seems like I got 2 of these. Apparently, they look very similar to... It's quite a bit of a big-sized bird, but it's meant to replicate their scaleized, if that's a word, their actual scales. I think they are quite big. Then let's check here. Not sure if this bird can kill a venomous snake like this, which is quite weird. Another collared kingfisher. Looks very, very nice. It's going by the white. That's actually named like so. There's its tail at the back there. It is quite a nice, good looking bird. This one here, the bird on this one here is actually a bit different than, let's just say, this one here. This one's got a shorter tail, and this one here's got a bit of a longer tail. I don't know why. And then we've also got a mouse, which is a bit bland because, hey, you give this to the snake, he'll pretty much devour it like this. Because this is a pit viper, we are dealing with a snake that is based on something that's quite venomous. I'm not sure if it's hemotoxic or neurotoxic. If it's a neurotoxic venomous or snake, it'll just break down tissue. Okay, it'll just break down body tissues in aid of digestion. But if it's a snake, that aids within a hemotoxic venom. Well, it basically, I wouldn't say diffuse, but probably like stop the blood circulation and working, and actually to cause clotting. In fact, the blood clotting feature would also mean that blood vessels will make it very difficult for blood because of that snake there. Okay, we've got some red eyes. They do come in yellow and brown and green eyes, correct me if I'm wrong. And as strange as this sounds, we've got parrotfish. Now I'm sort of thinking, why is there a parrotfish in the set? Well, I'm probably thinking kingfishers do eat these types of fishies, but not so much than, let's just say, crabs or other fish. I'm sort of thinking about that. Okay, so that's probably it with this set. But we're going to have a look at the hognose snake. And actually, let me just take a look at the Sunda Islands pit viper. It does look very nice, but then there's a bit of inconsistency of detailing. It's fully blue, but it's quite a bit lacking on this side here. A little bit paler than, let's just say, this side here. It's more well defined. Yeah, it is what it is. The Sunda Islands blue pit viper, also known as the white-lipped pit viper, which quite interesting somehow. Okay, I don't think it's a subspecies. It might be called the blue insularis pit viper. Let's look at the hognose snakes and see what they look like. I actually made these on Monday, and I actually made the pit viper just recently today, which is of course Wednesday, and now it's gone up towards Christmas Day. Right, let me just go ahead and unpack these and take a look at these snakes. They are pretty basic because of more stature. They are small looking. Okay, we've got a bit of a chompy jaw action here. The venom on these snakes are actually quite mild. But anyways, these are just paper ripples. Somehow they do measure up to about 40 to 50 centimeters long. On the back, on this one here, this snake here measures, I don't know, I'd probably presume like 70 or 80 centimeters. Probably 60, if I'm not wrong. But let's take a look at the Western hognose snakes, because they are the more common type snakes, often being kept as pets. Or should I just say the more commoner-esque type hognose snake, because the Eastern hognose is often a lot much more, well, basically a lot more aggressive than the Western hognose snakes, but I might be totally wrong. There's their tail on the back there. They do look a lot more very strange. It looks like a piece of spaghetti being attached to something else. Quite very weird. Luckily enough, we don't have the loop snakes somehow. It's quite a very awesome looking design. It's got brown eyes. And yes, the chomping jaw action, of course, looks very, very nice. Here's a look at the other one there. You can also see the detailing is very much resemblant to that of a Western hognose snake in real life. It also gives me a bit of king snake, actually core snake vibes. So I think king snakes are a bit different somehow in terms of their design. I'll tell you what, one species I've seen so far was a Honduran milk snake. I might try and replicate these again, because that snake is totally awesome. Very interesting. I'll tell you what, very nice looking serpents. I certainly have changed the way I looked at snakes. Very, very nice. Well, that's going to be about it for today's quick toy review of me reviewing snakes. So I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. I'm not sure I'll just say Christmas. As obviously, yes, 2025 has been the year of the snake according to the Chinese zodiac. Lots and lots of snakes. Big and small. Quite interesting, isn't it? As, yeah, last year I did lizards. This year I'm doing snakes. Not sure if next year I'm going to do ponies and horses, because look at this. Look at the snake goodness I've been releasing so far. That is a massive prime example of seeing why there's just so many of them. Anyways, I'm going to leave this video here. Hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you there, of course, if I can talk like a snake. And as always, with James the Red Engine, who's basically struggling to pull this train here, I might as well, just before I should end this video here, there's actually quite a few problems with James. He does get stuck on the level crossing, I think. Probably because of the age, I think. But he will go there. There's no problems with James. He is still quite somehow his motor and his gearbox. I think he's totally right somehow. So no problems with James. But yeah, hopefully for this whole year, let's just say the Remnants, and also next year I'll keep on playing with this James as long as I'm very, very careful with him somehow. Anyways, if you really enjoyed in this video so far on my YouTube channel, please give this video a very good like, subscribe for more Flip Side videos in the future, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.